In Jujutsu Kaisen, there is a figure that defies convention, blurs boundaries, and redefines strength. He's not the main character of the story, but his presence demands attention. In a world dictated by cursed energy and sorcerer's hierarchies, one man stands as a testament to raw power absent from any supernatural assistance. Today we delve into the enigma, the legend, and the paradox that is Toji Fushiguro, arguably the most important agent of change in Jujutsu Kaisen. Toji is a catalyst. Though he is featured sparingly in the story, he leaves an indelible mark each time he graces the plot, providing a crucial turning points that shape the broader story. Hi guys, it's Yue, and today let us take a look at this amazingly complex man. This video will consist of two parts. I will first talk about Toji's mark on Gojo and Geto, and then his complex relationship with Megumi and what that entails. We first was introduced to Toji during the Star Plasma Vessel arc. Riko Amanai was a young girl who is supposed to be the Star Plasma Vessel of the Jujutsu world. In the story, she was destined to merge with Master Tengen, who is responsible to maintain the barriers of the Jujutsu world. So Geto and Gojo was tasked by the higher-ups to protect her, ensuring that she's alive for the merger to happen. But on the other hand, a non-sorcerer's religious cult believed that the merger between her and Tengen would cause Tengen to become impure, and thus they orchestrated to kill her by hiring Toji as a mercenary. And so obviously Toji needed to fight Gojo off. So let's first talk about this battle with Gojo. This encounter wasn't just a showdown between two powerful combatants. It was a clash of ideologies and a mirror into Jujutsu world's inherent contradictions. It showcased that even in a world governed by cursed energy, raw human ability could challenge the status quo. On the surface, Gojo, the prodigious Jujutsu sorcerer equipped by the Six Eyes, was a legend, with many considering him the pinnacle of power. Toji, however, was a man with no cursed energy, someone who, by standard definition, should be at a massive disadvantage. Yet it was this very lack of cursed energy that made him the perfect counter to Gojo. With every movement, Toji's unparalleled physical abilities and refined battle instincts push Gojo into his limits. But what's really important here, more than the immediate danger Toji posed, the battle was catalyst for Gojo's evolution.
元気ピンピンだよ。反転術式。正解。
As he was pushed in the corner, Gojo tapped into the depths of his power he'd previously not explored. This battle with Toji acted as the trigger for Gojo to unlock the potential for his limitless technique. It's a pivotal moment in Gojo's journey and this whole story as a whole, transforming him from just a prodigy to a force of nature. Now, the second part of his role as a catalyst is in the aftermath of it all, when Toji succeeded in killing Riko Amanai. It was a life-changing moment for Gojo and Geto. For Gojo, this event played a role in the realization of the world's cruelty. Witnessing the brutal assassination of a younger girl under his protection made Gojo realize the darker aspects of the Jujutsu world. It was a reminder that not every mission would be a success, and that the world they live in is filled with complexities and heartbreak. And this whole situation with Riko made him see firsthand the consequences of the Jujutsu traditionalist mindset, the issues with the higher-ups and the Jujutsu world, and the problem the current system creates. Because after all, isn't what started this whole mess in the first place it because those people in the higher up want to merge Riko's body with Tengen? Isn't merging Riko's body with Tengen also means sacrificing her? Maybe yes, it's a little different than just killing her in cold blood, but what right do they have to sacrifice this girl in the name of greater good? This event played a role in making Gojo more cynical about the Jujutsu world hierarchies and regulation. It strengthened his belief in restructuring the Jujutsu world and was a catalyst for his decision to prioritize raising a new generation of sorcerers who could challenge the new established order. And for Geto, it ran even deeper. Riko's death? Riko's death affected Geto. This tragedy was one that sparked his disillusionment with the humanity and Jujutsu world. Over time, this disillusionment grew, eventually leading him down a dark path where he believed that the only way to achieve true peace was by eradicating the non-sorcerers. This ideological divergence with Gojo created a rift between the two best friends, culminating in their eventual showdown, and what resulted in Genjaku ultimately taking over Geto's dead body and causing this whole mess in Shibuya right now. I've done a more detailed video on Gojo and Geto, so do check it out if you're interested. And in the grand scheme of things, by killing Riko and preventing Tengen from merging with her, Toji also weakens Tengen and makes him more vulnerable to Kenjaku's attack, and thus weakens the balance and the barriers of the Jutsu world, and this has severe impact later in the story. So here's Toji, someone who really just wanted a job, who is only good at fighting, and who happened to be hired as an assassin. He personally didn't really care that much about it. It was not influenced by greater politics or some deep personal motivation. It was simply a job to put money on the table. So isn't it so ironic how someone who is detached from the world of sorcery, who rejects it, and yet he still become the one greatest catalyst in the Jujutsu world? Now let's talk about Toji's role as a daddy. Father to Megumi. Yes. Toji is a character that teeters between the realms of moral ambiguity. He walks in this very thin tightrope between a protector and an antagonist. Toji's and Megumi's relationship is full of estrangement and complex emotions. Does Toji represent the failings of fatherhood, or is he the picture of the twisted sacrifices one makes for his family? Can a man who's walked a path stained with blood can even be considered as a father? When we think of the term father, it often evokes the feeling of protection, guidance, and love. Kind of. Although fatherhood in anime in this genre is often a non-existent thing. But anyway, Toji's relationship with Megumi is anything but conventional. To understand Toji as a father, we must first reconcile with the many contradictions that define him. One of the most debated aspects of Toji's character is his decision to sell his son Megumi to the Zenin clan. On the surface, it's an unforgivable act, painting Toji as a cold-hearted individual who saw his child as nothing more than a commodity. However, this decision was nuanced and layered, stemming from both Toji's understanding of the Jujutsu world's brutal realities. Toji was born into the prestigious Zenin clan with the expectation of inheriting immense cursed energy, yet ironically, he possessed none. This lack of cursed energy made him an outcast. His detachment from the world of Jujutsu sorcerers offers a unique perspective, one of disdain and disillusionment. He sees through the pretense and recognizes the world for what it is: corrupt, power-hungry, and inherently flawed. In selling Megumi, it's plausible he believed he was sparing his son from a similar fate. Yes, the Zenin clan was harsh upon Toji, but they wanted Megumi because his inherited Ten Shadows technique, a powerful and coveted ability of the clan. Knowing Megumi's inherent potential, Toji might have seen the transition as a path for Megumi to harness his powers in a controlled environment. Moreover, Megumi's placement with the Zenin clan, despite of its complexities, ensured that he at least received training and resources to protect himself in a world where his abilities made him a prime target. The act of selling might not have been purely altruistic, but it wasn't devoid of foresight either. By entrusting Megumi to the Zenin clan, he wasn't just securing a financial benefit from himself, he was embedding his son into a house of power, ensuring Megumi's place in a world that rejected Toji. But remember something even more poignant. Just moments after his second battle with Gojo, just before his defeat and his death, his thought went to his son Megumi. His last words to Gojo was,
2、3年もしたら俺のガキが全員家に売られる。好きにしろ。
It is his own way of throwing the ball into Gojo's court, because now, at that moment, just before his death, Toji was presented with another option that could protect Megumi. Besides surrendering him to the Zenin clan, maybe, just maybe, Gojo, the man who defeats him, the strongest man, will take Megumi, his son, in. And fast forward to the current timeline, the Shibuya arc, we see Toji's unexpected return because of the reanimation technique used to summon his body and inadvertently summon his soul. At first glance, Toji seemed to be the ultimate assassin, he defeating opponents left and right, but when he comes face to face with Megumi in the midst of battle, he simply asks Megumi,
名前は?
This seemingly simple question has a very layered meaning. It adds so much complexity to Toji's character. By asking about Megumi's surname, is it Zenin or Fushiguro, Toji is essentially trying to discern whether Megumi is associated with the Zenin clan, a family with its own set of darkness, or with the Fushiguro name, which might signify Megumi forging his own path. Was Megumi able to live free of the Zenin's family influence after all? And when Megumi replied,
伏黒
Toji smiled in satisfaction.
よかったな。
In the Japanese manga, the actual word that Toji used was actually "yokatta na," which means I'm glad. It's a whole different vibe. It's a softer sentiment. He genuinely is relieved that his son isn't trapped in a Zenin clan, and it's only then his soul or his conscience finds some peace and he is ready to leave the world without battling Megumi. I found that very touching. Yes, he was the one who intended to put Megumi in Zenin's clan in the first place, but this interaction shows that deep down he wanted Megumi to be free, and that his decision not to fight Megumi and choosing to kill himself instead reveals a softer, perhaps paternal side that's rarely seen, even in his reanimation state. The inherent bond in their relationship lingers. It shows a father, albeit briefly, concerned about the path his son has taken, hinting at a sense of care underneath his hardened exterior. He wanted his boy to live a free life. In the end, Toji Fushiguro's portrayal as a father is a reflection of the broader themes in Jujutsu Kaisen, a world filled with gray areas, the weight of legacy, and the often blurred lines between right and wrong. And you know what? The whole putting Megumi in Gojo scared? Well, isn't that a whole new catalyst for something big that would happen in the future? Manga readers, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Toji might not been a traditionally good father, but Toji, with all his sins and mistakes, wanted something good for his son, Megumi. And it's something that we should always keep in mind when we think about Toji. So guys, Toji's appearances are brief, but the impact that he brings, it's lasting. Toji's actions, especially his assassination of Riko Amanai, paint him as an antagonist. But Toji is a product of his circumstances, and his decisions, however questionable, are reactions to a world that has been equally brutal to him. Toji might not be a good man, but Toji represents a certain freedom, free from the binding of cursed energy, free from societal expectations and clan hierarchies. He embodies the raw, unrestrained essence of humanity. His strength doesn't come from his supernatural abilities, but from his sheer will and determination. Thank you so much guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and that this video provides you with a deeper insight of Toji's character that you may not have considered before. Leave a like and comment about what you think about Toji. I think his character is just so amazingly complex, and I really love that about Jujutsu Kaisen. If you're new here, please subscribe to my channel, and thank you and see you next time. Bye bye!